Off Script with Super E recommends listener discretion as these real but sometimes uncensored stories can be filled with mature content.
Listeners, it's A-Train and Super E.
What's up?
How you doing, Super E?
Doing good.
Good. You thought of something funny to tell us?
Well, I remember an incident. This is when, what do you call them? Radio-controlled cars, remote-controlled cars.
Yeah.
They were about, 2 feet long, and kids would have them on the sidewalk and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Well, there was one kid in the neighborhood, in the hood.
Uh-huh.
He was causing some problems with his remote-control car.
Okay.
He was having it going in and out of traffic, and people that are driving on that block were getting pretty pissed.
Right.
And they were calling in, hey, there's some dumbass with a remote control car driving in and out of traffic.
Okay.
Every time we'd go down there, you wouldn't see the little son of a bitch because I think he was looking out.
Yeah.
But anyways, I get a domestic disturbance in that same block.
Okay.
So I'm heading down there, and I go to the house, and I look over. Well, there's a kid about 15 or 16 years old. He's got one of them, the little with controllers in his hand.
Uh-huh.
And I roll down the window, and I can hear zip, 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 zip. It's the car racing up and down the street.
Okay.
And as I step out, he races her right by me. And I'm like, this is that little son of a bitch they're complaining about.
Uh-huh.
And it goes, zing, zing. And I said, hey, little dude, quit doing that shit in traffic. You're going to cause an accident. Somebody's going to get pissed off. And they just might smash your little radio-controlled car. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, officer, you can't do that. Nobody can smash my car. I'm too quick. They can't do it. And I said, I tell you what, you can do it on the sidewalk and all that, but just be careful. And he just laughed. He wasn't listening to anything I said. Uh-huh. So, but then I had to take this domestic. My backup wasn't closed, so I just thought I'd go in there and handle it.
Yeah.
So I go in, and it's a man and woman. They're arguing, and I'm like, I said, what's going on? And they seen me before, and she's like, Gonzalez, this son of a bitch, he just doesn't do anything. All he does is laying around my house. He's been living here a month. He won't do anything. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, she's so full of shit. She's always lying. I just said, hold on a second, let her talk. I said, who owns the house? I own the house. I work. I raise kids. I thought if he moved in, he could help me out. But all he does all day is watch Gilligan's Island and yell at the TV. I was like, what? She goes, he gets angered by the irony of, it's 3 hours. Ginger's got 5 suitcases. And he screams at the TV. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't mop. And then of course the guy looks at her and goes, cause you're a bitch. He doesn't cook cause you're a bitch. He doesn't make his bed cause you're a bitch. And I said, could you shut up? And he goes, why? I said, cause you're a bitch. And he was
You didn't say that.
To me like that, Gonzalez, if that's your real name. And I'm like, actually, it's not my real name. And so I looked at her and I said, does he pay any rent? She said, no. Does he pay for gas or the insurance on the car? Does he own the car? She goes, he absolutely owns nothing. All he has is the clothes on his back, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So she goes, I just want him out. I can't take any more of Gilligan's Island and him screaming. So I said, okay, dude, you've got one option. I said, you can get your stuff and get out, or you can go to jail. See, that's what you always told him.
Wow. Yeah, you're stretching this one, Super.
Stretching it out, like legs.
Okay. No, you're stretching. What you're gonna lock this dude up for?
Well, Well, I'm just saying that's what it was. You know, you gave him the option of you can leave or go to jail.
Okay.
Now, generally, you didn't take him to jail, but you just threw it out there.
Yeah, it's an idle threat.
It's kind of like de-escalation we just talked about with the stinky armpit story.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he's like, motherfuck, okay, I'm out of here. I don't need this anyway. He storms out the door and vanishes. And she goes, officer, thank you so much. I was so sick of him. He is so useless. And I'm like, no problem. And so as I'm walking out the door, I could see that stupid kid with a remote control car doing it again. He's fucking driving, and he was really pretty good at it because he was going under cars and shit.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, he's annoying, but very impressive. Damn. And so he sees me come out, and then all of a sudden the car zoom, disappears on me. And he's standing there like, you know, like I ain't got nothing. But I got another hot run. I mean, I had to get in the car and go.
Okay.
I'll never forget this. So then as I acknowledge the run, I turn my car on and I getting ready to throw it in reverse. I could hear he was racing his remote control car right at my car.
Okay.
I didn't know where it was. I could just hear it, but I didn't have time to mess around because I had to get on another run.
Right.
And so I just threw it in reverse and I backed up, and all of a sudden I heard crunch and I could feel the passenger side of my rear tire go up in the air and come down. I'm like, what was that? And then I had to go fast, so I spun the tire and heard go like a bunch of debris being thrown all over the place. And I took off and I look up in the rearview mirror, and that kid, I saw him running to the middle of the street, and he holds up his remote control car, and it's like in 1,000 pieces hanging on the power cord. And he's like, hey! And I was like, hasta vista, baby. I got to get onto this other run. But I never heard anything else about it. And that was the end of that. And so I took care of two runs at one time.
You never got another complaint of that little fucker driving his car up down the street.
Yeah, the dude causing the problems with the Gilligan's Island hollering.
Yeah.
And the kid with the remote control car, both cleared up, never heard from either one of them again.
Now, I want to get this on record. Obviously, even though it is the irony of ironies, you did not mean to run over that kid's car.
I did not. I was focused on the hot run. I think it was like possible burglary in progress, one of those things. So it wasn't something of annoying pigeons in the park. Can you go check it out?
Yeah.
No, it was something where somebody was being injured or robbed.
You had to get there, and that little shit drove that car right up behind yours. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Accidents could happen.
Yeah. I tried to warn him. You know what? It was a lesson well learned. And guess what? He's now probably a president of the United States.
No, because that would have made this kid at that time, he still would have been 60. So,
yeah.
Okay, there's something else I got to talk about. Okay, the dude that would just watch Gilligan's Island all day and would get mad and throw stuff at the TV because of the irony of Gilligan's Island.
When she was talking about it, I was totally in agreement with him.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, they get marooned on the island.
Yeah.
Don Rickles shows up, gets on the island, and then somehow gets off the island with no problem. Back to civilization.
Right.
Every guest on the show got there. Brett Summers, whoever it was.
Yeah.
And off the island they went.
And the whole thing. Yeah, Ginger has like 6 things of luggage for a 3-hour tour. I mean, come on. Why did she have all those sparkly dresses?
And Thurston Howell III has a suitcase of money.
Right. And here's another thing. Do you really think Thurston and Lovey are going to go on some cheesy-ass 3-hour tour? Yes. I mean, come on.
Exactly. They ain't going to do that.
What the hell was Sherwood Schwartz thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's absolute BS. But I still love Gilligan's Island. And just before we leave, Ginger or Marianne?
When I was young, Marianne. As I got older, Ginger.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you on that. I like it. Yes. Okay. Well, that was a fantastic story. I think all the statute of limitations have run out, so I think we're safe. It was not intentional, and that's all I have to say.
None of it was intentional, unless I meant to do it.
10-4. 10-4. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. See ya.
See ya.